Hello everyone, mechs and femmes, Autobots and Decepticons, and everyone in between. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Autobot Medic Poppy Faith, but you can just call me Poppy. Anyways, I hope you guys are liking the new logo, cause Pride Month logo! FYI, I am a pansexual, and that is why I changed my logo to those colors, because, let's face it, my logo looks so fire with my flag. What was that? I don't know what that was, but anyway, it should be made pretty apparent that I'm a Transformers fan. I have been for over 7 years, and I feel like this is pretty obvious. If not by the hundreds of dollars I've spent on Transformers figures. But, anyway, today I'm going to be combining Transformers with another continuity I love. Ninjago! I had a giant brain buffer there for a hot second. Anyway, I'm going to be combining Transformers Prime characters with Ninjago characters. And just a little bit of ground rules for myself. All of them have to be ninja, except there's one exception, which is one character, which is one of my OCs. Or one of the characters I inserted into this, which is why it's kind of a... I'm not trying to break the rules, but most of them are all going to be ninja, including some characters from Dragon's Rising. But anyway, let me know in the comments if you think that these are accurate or not, or what your overall opinion was. I did this before with Has-Been Hotel characters, but that was on Instagram, so I may have to remake that video and post it on here just so you guys can see it. But yeah, it's on my Instagram, DixieMarikey_PoppyFaith. Literally just look up Poppy Faith and you'll find me. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so we have the main cast, including Season 3. It's all the bots, okay? So we have, including characters that I inserted. So, spoilers for my book, if y'all want to read it. It's on Wattpad. Transformers Prime, but with Mirror Storm. I'm working on Season 1. I'm almost done with Season 1, actually. I have 2.5 more episodes left. And then I'm on to Season 2, baby! Actually, no, because I said I'd rewrite one of the episodes that I didn't do earlier in Season 1. Okay, 3 more. 3 more episodes. 3.5. But, anyway, okay. So, to pull off the list, we have Optimus Prime, Ratchet, Mirror Storm, my OC, Javelin, a Transformers character who I inserted into Transformers Prime. Because, let's face it, we need more female characters. Smokescreen, RC, Bulkhead, Wheeljack, Ultra Magnus, and Bumblebee. Also, because I realized last time I did this, I completely forgot Jackie. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm doing better. I'm better this time. I promise. Okay, but this is going to be a long video, so I gotta start talking. Arguably best flavor Gatorade, lime cucumber. Okay. So, starting off the list, we are going to have Optimus Prime. Who else would I give for this character other than Master Wu? Who else? Okay, Master Wu is overall one of the greatest mentors in media. Same with Optimus Prime. Overall, despite Dragon's Rising, Wu is typically the leader of the ninja, teaching them what is right and what is wrong, which Optimus Prime does on multiple occasions throughout the series. Overall, I feel like it was kind of self-explanatory for who Optimus Prime was gonna get. Let's be so for real. I feel like, and like Wu overall, Wu has his funny moments, so does Optimus. Although he does not intend them to be funny. Let's be so for real. That one scene where he was like, no, that was funnier than it should have been. But, yeah, honestly, who else could I give? Who else? I literally could not give anybody else any other character. Or, I literally could not have given Optimus any other character. Okay, next up. Okay, yeah, I feel like that was kind of fast, but you get the point. Like, I'm gonna try to speed fire this, because otherwise I'm gonna be talking for 2 hours, okay? And I don't have 2 hours. So, we're gonna do this. Alright, next up is Ratchet. Now, Ratchet was a little bit harder to get. For some stupid reason, I originally put Lloyd. Wait, no. No, I originally, for some stupid reason, I put Lloyd as Optimus and Ratchet as Woo. Which also, okay, the Lloyd doesn't work. But the Woo kind of works for Ratchet too. But instead, I gave Ratchet Zane. Zane overall is, I wouldn't necessarily say crabby, but like he's pretty emotionless, which I feel like corresponds to Ratchet as well. But of course, they do have their funny moments, and they do have times where they do show emotions. Overall, Zane and Ratchet are characters that are very, very serious when it comes to a mission and are willing to do whatever it takes to take care of others. And overall, I feel like it does not take much to figure out that Zane was the Ratchet. Also, because they're both tech geeks. Like, let's be so for real. Ratchet, despite him saying, I'm a medic, not an engineer. Buddy, come on. We all see it. And I feel like Zane, overall, while he's not, like, the biggest engineer, he's not like Sora or Nia, he still is pretty tech whiz, and so is Ratchet. So, yeah, I gave Ratchet Zane. Okay, next up is Mirror Storm, who this pairing was a little bit harder because originally I had Mirror Storm with Sora, but then I was like, that doesn't really fit. But there is one Ninjago character that fits Mirror Storm better than any other character. The only thing is she's not a ninja. But you know what? I am willing to bet $20 that in the next season, or in one of the later seasons of Ninjago, Shintaro's gonna come back. I'm calling it right now. Shintaro's gonna come back. Just with how much they talk about it in Dragon's Rising. Well, by talk about it, I mean they've mentioned it a couple times. Whenever Cole comes up, they always say the hero of Shintaro. Or Jay, he's like, when he tells Cole, it's like, I haven't seen you fight that well since Shintaro. Shintaro. Like they keep bringing up Shintaro. And I am willing to bet that they are gonna bring Shintaro back. At least once. Okay? At least once. But anyway, speaking of Shintaro, I gave Mirror Storm Vanya, which fits in more ways than one. More ways than one. Jeez, I can't talk today. Okay. So, Mirror Storm with Vanya fits Mirror Storm with her two appearances. First as Mirror Storm, then as Aurora Star, which, spoiler for later in my book, Mirror Storm eventually becomes Aurora Star, who is the angel of Cybertron and the champion of Primus, which corresponds with Vanya well, because Vanya at first is the princess, then she's the queen of Shintaro. So, I feel like that kind of works because Vanya grows as a character, and so does Mirror Storm. Vanya and Mirror Storm also represent each other because they're both kind of the rebellious princess. Not that Mirror Storm was very rebellious, but she was very much a princess who didn't act like one. Like, she was last in line for the throne, so kind of makes sense why she had a little bit more leeway when it came to when she was a child, and therefore would have been seen by anybody else as a little bit rebellious. But not really. But also, another thing is that Mirror Storm and Vanya's loyalty and compassion. Mirror Storm has become so connected to the children that she is taking care of, as well as her new comrades for the Autobots. I am getting so stuck on words that it's driving me insane. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. But Mirror Storm and Vanya, they're both incredibly loyal and incredibly compassionate when it comes to their teammates. Vanya is shown through her compassion to her people, the people of Shintaro, as well as to the ninja, who she was who was very welcoming to the ninja, as well as, even though she knew she would get in trouble, still wanted to come and help the ninja. And overall, let's face it, Cole and Vanya, woo! I'm calling, okay, if I didn't, okay, again, controversial thing with Ninjago, I ship Cole and Geo. They are so cute. But I'm just saying, if they bring Vanya back, I am so going back on that statement, because those two are so cute. But yeah, but yeah, overall, just their overall compassion towards each other. Vanya's overall compassion as well as her loyalty definitely helped me to overcome Mirror Storm, to figure out which character Mirror Storm was. Now, originally, like I said, I originally had Mirror Storm set for Sora, which Sora would have made sense for the little insecurities that Mirror Storm had. And her only real insecurities were with her other half, Veilshard. For those who do not know, Veilshard is kind of the other half of Mirror Storm. Essentially, she was created by Unicron when she attached to Mirror Storm, and they became inseparable. While she's not fully a half of Mirror Storm, she's another part. And throughout the series that I've been rewriting, Mirror Storm has expressed how uncomfortable she is with Veilshard. And throughout the series, we see little moments of Veilshard, but we never actually see the boss get to see her until One Shall Fall. Wait, is it One Shall Fall or is it One Shall Rise? One Shall Fall. Right? Yep, One Shall Fall. When she finally reveals it to the bots. And where she finally lets those insecurities go in order to save Kayla and Raph. Because let's face it, that made no sense! When just, you put Energon and Dark Energon, yes, it would cancel out, but it's like, that doesn't make sense! Okay? Nurse talking here, that didn't make any sense. But, yeah, overall, I feel like once those insecurities were through, Mirror Storm didn't really have a whole lot of insecurities after that. And I will say, throughout the earlier on Cybertron, she was friends with Optimus and Megatron. And I feel like that also helps her connect with Vanya, is because Vanya was a little bit naive. And so was Mirror Storm, because she trusted Megatron. Now again, this was before Megatron fully lost it. As well as during the first part of, in my episode, The Seas Have Changed, where we first meet Mirror Storm, while she hadn't fully distrusted Megatron, she hadn't fully agreed with him either. So I feel like that made her a little bit naive, because, like, she wasn't really, like, fully disconnected with Megatron until she fully knew the truth. That Megatron had killed her brother. She suspected that Megatron had helped lead against the Argon Sea, but she didn't know for sure. And eventually, this is what led her to be sure that Megatron had done what he had done. So I feel like that really helps her combine with Vanya, and I feel like overall, Mirror Storm is the Vanya. In both when she's Mirror Storm and when she is Aurora Star. Alright. Next up, Javelin. Ooh, here we go. This one was fun. Okay, so Okay, so for Javelin, I gave her Sora. Now, I feel like Sora fits Javelin, and for Javelin's personality, I was mostly going off of the IDW comics, where Javelin overall was one of the younger characters, and while in my rewrite, she's not, like, the youngest. Like, she's Smokescreen's older sister. So, she relatively is not quite as unseasoned. And I'm kind of going based off of the lore that War Chronicles has set out for Javelin in Wrecker's Penance. That's roughly what I'm going off of for her, is kind of her personality in Wrecker's Penance, where she's kind of the younger, but also the kinder of the Wreckers, but she can also kick ass when she needs to. Which is overall what I feel like Sora does. But also tying into the IDW comics, where Javelin is a little bit insecure and almost not sure of herself, as we've seen in the IDW comics. Where the poor thing got shot in the head, and after that experience with her PTSD, she didn't really she didn't really assist well with everything because of how afraid she was. Which I feel like matches Sora, is because Sora was she is very insecure. She's not 100% sure of herself or sure of her powers, which I feel like also helps her combine with Sora. As well as just overall their personalities. Like, Sora's overall, like, she's very kind, and she's also very... I don't know, I wanted to say awkward for some reason, but I don't really know. Like, I feel like Sora was the best case scenario for Javelin, and overall I just feel like it fits. Overall, it fits. Alright. Next up, we have an official character, Smokescreen. Also, I should have said this before. Canon relationships in Ninjago do not count for here. Like, they don't exist. Like, Jay and Nia, or whatever, they're, like, when I'm combining Transformers characters with them, I'm not thinking of having that in mind, if that makes sense. Okay, sorry, I had to relocate there for a hot second, because, my Chromebook was about to die. So, where was I? Talked about him, talked about her, talked about her. Okay, I believe I was on Smokescreen. Okay, and like I said, relationships in canon do not apply to this, okay? So, Jay and Nia, the characters I give them, ignore their relationship, okay? I'm sorry! Okay, also, just like another thing when it comes to, when we're talking about relationships, personal opinion with Transformers Prime relationships. I feel like a lot of them, like, okay, B and RC. This is like a rough example. Bumblebee and RC. I used to ship them, but now that I think about it, they're more the main team of Team Prime. I feel like we're talking Optimus Prime, Ratchet, Bumblebee, Bulkhead, and RC. I'm talking those characters, they feel more like brothers and sisters than a relationship. Personal opinion, like, I see them more as siblings now than a relationship. And I feel like overall, who I shipped the most, seeing as all of the Wattpad stories that I've read, we are not going to talk about those. I'm sorry, I had to make sure my Chromebook was still on. Okay, we're good. Okay, I feel like overall, who I ship, and after reading a lot of people's stories and opinions, I feel like the couple I ship the most, honestly, I do kind of ship Bulkhead and, I lost my train of thought. Bulkhead and Wheeljack, I kind of ship it because it's kind of cute, okay? It's kind of cute. I totally see them. But another one I see also, Wheeljack and RC, especially after +1, I especially see that there. I especially see them being a thing. As well as another couple I extremely ship, and to me, it's just canon. It's canon. Knockout and Breakdown. Those two were so cute. And I kind of, like, I don't know. I kind of ship Starscream and Knockout. I don't know. I don't know. Another one I also kind of see is okay, a lot of these include RC, but like RC and Knockout, I think I read a Wattpad story, On Board the Nemesis, I believe is what it was called, and they were so cute. Like, it's not even funny. They were so cute, and I loved it. So honestly, I see that one, and then I totally see that one, and then Wheeljack and Bulkhead. Those are gotta be my favorites, because at the end, Knockout becomes an Autobot. So, I feel like that one tracks. And I feel overall that one makes sense. After all, Starscream's an asshole! Nobody likes you, Screamer! Except when Steve Bloom voices you. Man, that had me going! Okay. Anyway, enough about ships. Back to the characters, because I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more! I gotta get going, otherwise this video is gonna be 2 hours long. Okay, Smokescreen. There's only one character I could give Smokescreen, and that's Jay Walker. the Lightning Ninja. I feel like overall, Smokescreen and Jay's immaturity really binds them together, okay? Like, the both of them are so immature, it's not even funny. Wait. Oh, never mind. For a hot second, I thought I didn't have a Kai, but I included Sora and Aaron. But nope, we got Kai. Never mind. Okay, but yeah, overall. And I feel like, you know what? Like, Smokescreen and Jay, once, like, if you think about it, they're both really sweet characters. And overall, when it comes to they just want to impress people. They want to look good and they want to impress people, which overall is what Smokescreen does, as well as Jay. So, overall, I feel like Jay and Smokescreen are just perfect for each other. You know? And, like, come on. Smokescreen gripes himself about being the fastest thing on wheels. Jay's lightning, so essentially he is. If you think about it, because Jay's power is over lightning. So, when you think about it, overall, I feel like it fits. I don't know, sue me. But, yeah. Jay, Walker, and Smokescreen. I feel like they fit perfectly together. Okay, next one. RC. Do I even need to say it? You all know who I'm gonna say. Nia. That one's not even hard. Okay? Literally. RC and Nia. Both are literally perfect for each other. Okay? Like, seriously. Nia's the badass girl in blue on the ninja team with all guys. RC, badass girl in blue who's the only one on the prime team. Like, come on, they're sassy, they're spunky, and they have their say. As well as they kick ass when they need to. So I feel like, do I really need to explain that one further? Like, seriously? Do I need to? Like, I really feel like I don't need to explain that one any further. Because I feel like overall, that one was the easiest of all of these. That one was the easiest. I need my drink because I'm shouting too much. Yeah. Alright. But yeah, I gave RC Nia. And I feel like overall, that one fits way too perfectly. Alright. Bulkhead. Okay, Bulkhead, I feel like, again, was kind of an easier one to do. I gave Bulkhead Cole. And I feel like Cole's a pretty self-explanatory character for Bulkhead. They're both kind of the gentle giants. They're both the muscles of the team. And overall, they're very kind characters who give good advice when characters need it. Good example, Cole with Frack and Bulkhead with Smokescreen. Bulkhead kind of helped teach Smokescreen about slow and steady, and he also kind of taught him that not all missions end in high speed chases. There you go. He kind of helped teach Smokescreen to kind of slow down a little bit. And Cole helped teaches Frack how to use his powers. As well as throughout the series, Cole kind of helps train Frack when they're doing the ninja competitions, or the Tournament of Sources. There it is. And, like, overall, I feel like, if we're being honest, if they were, Bulkhead would be the foodie, and Cole's the foodie of Ninjago, so, overall, I feel like that fits so well. There's one more thing I wanted to say. What was I gonna say? Okay, and also, I ship both of them in a gay relationship. Like, they kind of, it works, okay? It works. So, yeah, I gave Bulkhead Cole. There was something I was gonna say, but I can't remember what I was gonna say. Gee, I honestly don't remember what I was gonna say. Son of a bitch. Okay, anyway. Next up, we have Wheeljack. Okay, Wheeljack was, again, an easier one to do. Like, he was a very easy one to assign, and I feel like it's going to be pretty self-explanatory. I gave Wheeljack Kai. And I feel like Kai overall is a very understandable character for Wheeljack. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Overall, I gave Wheeljack Kai. And I feel like Kai fits very well because they're both the hotheads and the explosive personality, okay? They both got the thing with their hair. Not that Wheeljack has any hair, but let's be so for real. If Wheeljack had hair, I feel like he would have the thing. They're also both explode first, ask questions later. Which I feel like overall very well fits their personality. As well for Wheeljack. Wheeljack doesn't really think things through, but then when somebody slows them down and has them think, he does. Like, he does think things through. Well, not very well, but he does. And overall, I feel like there is no better Autobot to give Kai than Jackie. Oh, you gotta love him. And let's face it, Kai and Bulkhead's bromance, you gotta love it. Okay, again, not that I ship Kai and Cole together, I'm just saying, the bromance goes so hard. Alright, who's next? But yeah, Wheeljack and Kai. Alright, next up we have Ultra Magnus. Now, Ultra Magnus's match is kind of a joke. I'm gonna be real with you guys right now. Ultra Magnus is kind of a joke, but I also feel like it kind of works for his personality, especially later on in the season. I gave Ultra Magnus Lloyd, and I feel like Lloyd fits Ultra Magnus because Ultra Magnus essentially is a carbon copy of Optimus. And Lloyd is a carbon copy of Woo. So, when you think about it, they're not really that different. With Ultra Magnus, though, same with Lloyd. At first, they're really kind of uptight, and like even Lloyd is when he first becomes leader of the Ninja. They're kind of uptight and a little bit more not really there when it comes to leadership. But then later on, as they soften up, Ultra Magnus and Lloyd overall become better leaders for their team. And overall, I feel like that kind of strict attitude fits for them. And there's not really much I can say about it, but I just feel like Ultra Magnus and Lloyd would be the most similar, as well as kind of in their own insecurities for their, for their kind of insecurities against the team, which Ultra Magnus gets to talk that through with Optimus, where he thinks that his instruction style isn't really working, which it wasn't. But he was able to talk to Optimus and kind of get it figured out as to why. Because Magnus was treating them more like an army versus a family, which is more accurate. And Lloyd kind of had that, well, he didn't really have that issue, but he kind of had that little thought where he wanted to train just like Woo. But then he realized that that didn't work for him. And same with Ultra Magnus. They had a teaching style that they believed would work, but it didn't work for them. So they tried something new, and it worked. Yeah, I feel like there was just no character I could give Ultra Magnus other than Lloyd. At first, Lloyd was kind of a joke, but then I realized that their personalities do fit better than I thought they would. Alright, last but certainly not least, Bumblebee. And I feel like the character I gave B was pretty self-explanatory. Overall, I gave B Aaron. Now, Aaron, again, is one of the younger ninja, and B is one of the younger characters. Like, my thing is, if I were to age them, I feel like it would go Ratchet, Optimus, Ultra Magnus, RC, Mirror Storm, Bulkhead, Javelin, Wheeljack, Bumblebee, and Smokescreen. I feel like that's just how it would personally go for me, ages-wise. And, yeah. I just smelled something weird. I was gonna say something that I forgot. Damn it. Okay, but, yeah. I gave B Eren because, again, Eren is one of the younger ninja, and I feel like Eren's insecurities also match with B's insecurities for not having a voice box. Eren's insecurities are because he doesn't have an elemental power, but he can still do Spinjitzu, which I still think is kind of weird. I mean, Wu doesn't have an elemental power, so I feel like it kind of does Wu have an elemental power? Bear in mind, I've not watched the earlier seasons of Ninjago for a hot minute, so if I forget something, hold on, now I'm going to look it up, because now I don't remember. Okay, I was wrong. I forgot. Wu is the elemental master of creation. I forgot about that. So, we still don't know how Eren can do it without him having an elemental power. Which, yes, I know. He trained himself. I get that. The thing I don't get is everyone who did, except for the first Spinjitzu master, which, did the first Spinjitzu have an elemental master? Was he an elemental master? Hang on. Again, we're researching because I don't want to be wrong. I don't want people to blow up in my comments saying, oh, you got this fact wrong. Oh, you got this fact wrong. I'm not perfect, okay? Hang on, I'm looking this up, though. Okay, again, I was wrong, and he does have many elemental powers, so it doesn't make sense. Everyone who knows how to do Spinjitzu has an elemental power. Even the first Spinjitzu master had an elemental power. So how does that make sense that Eren can use Spinjitzu and he doesn't have an elemental power? Like, ah! I want to find that out so bad, but I don't think we're ever going to find that out. How Eren's able to do it. And I want to know. But, okay, anyway, we are going to talk about Eren. Actually, talk about Eren and Bumblebee. Okay, I feel like Bumblebee, again, fits Eren because they're both younger characters. Like, they're both younger. They both need to learn things, and they both want to learn things from their equal masters. By that, I mean Optimus, and from Eren, Lloyd. Although, I'm pretty sure Eren would prefer Master Wu anytime, any day. But that's not the point. They both want to learn, and they both want to become better. But they have not. And they are still wanting to learn, though. And I feel like that's the big thing. And, like, they're both very unsure of themselves, and they constantly have their leaders telling them, it's okay, but they're just secretly thinking it's not okay. It's not okay that they're not as able as other characters. Again, with Bumblebee's voice box, and eventually his T-Cog, as well as Eren with his inability to have an elemental power. But secretly, I think Eren does have an elemental power. He just doesn't know what it is. Like, honestly, I think it could be motion. Like, if there's any likely elemental power that Eren has, I feel like it's most likely some form of motion. Because while Eren can do Spinjitzu, he can also make an object have Spinjitzu. So I feel like overall, motion would be the most likely thing, or some form of motion I feel like would fit Eren's for an elemental power. But overall, like, B and Eren also are a little bit more of the naive characters, as well as the characters that are not quite as, that, like, don't understand things the way other characters that have been around longer or that are more prepared know how to do. So, I feel like overall that's why I gave B Eren. Like, there are probably better characters that I could have given B, but I kind of gave them to other characters that fit better. So I feel like overall, B fits Eren. Okay, but that is all on my list. Also, I just realized I spelled Wu wrong. I spelled it with 2 O's. When it's a U! I don't get paid enough to do this, but then again, I don't get paid to do this. I do this for sheer funsies. But, anyway, those are my opinions. I'm gonna say it one more time. Optimus Prime with Master Wu, Ratchet, Zane, Mirror Storm / Aurora Star, Queen / Princess Vanya, Javelin, Sora. Smokescreen, Jay. RC, Nia. Bulkhead, Cole. Wheeljack, Kai. Ultra Magnus, Lloyd. Bumblebee, Aaron. If you guys have any agreements or disagreements, I would like to hear. And also, I don't want to hear people yelling at me in the comments that I forgot a detail or something like that. Like, with the powers thing with, Master Wu and the first Spinjitzu Master. I forgot, okay? It's been a while. But overall, I feel like the characters I gave them, I feel like they overall match pretty well. And while there probably were better characters, I couldn't think of them off the top of my head, okay? But yeah, overall, I feel like these characters fit pretty well, and I feel like they make the most sense to these characters. But yeah, if you guys have any arguments, disagreements, I'd love to hear them. Honestly, I would. Like, if you guys think a certain character would fit another Transformers Prime character better, let me know. I will take in the what's the word I'm looking for? I will take in the critiques. Like, if you guys think that, and maybe it'll help me in future videos where I try to combine characters from one show to another one. Honestly, I think that would be a lot of fun. I might redo my Has Been Hotel one, depending on how Season 3 goes. Or even if I just think of a different opinion. Like, honestly, I could think of anything, and I honestly think that these combinations were pretty good, and even then, that I can think of even better combinations with your guys' help. But anyway, I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you do have an amazing day. And anyway, for those who celebrate, Happy Pride Month. Anyway, that's Autobot Medic signing off.